The hills of Appalachia offer vistas of breathtaking beauty. It's difficult to imagine the earliest settlers fighting their way up and around the mountains, testing their will against nature's most inspiring work. To those daring explorers, the mountains were an obstacle to be overcome. That's still true for the adventurers of today, but in a way that's a little more extreme.
You can have fun with all kinds of different sports, but if you're looking for a real adventure, then choose an extreme sport.
And when you live in the Appalachian area, there are lots of sports to choose from.
For the next half hour, we're going to look at two sports that are as different as two sports can be.
They're both a lot of fun, but be careful. Be sure you know what you're doing before you tackle them.
I'm going to tell you about the sport that brings out the explorer in you. It's called caving.
And I'm going to tell you about the most fun you can have on two wheels, mountain biking. Let's go!
So just how different are these sports? Well,
one takes you to the top of the hill,
and the other one takes you deep into the heart of the mountain.
one sport is really fast.
The other one moves slowly.
One is all about action and skill.
The other is about exploration and discovery.
As you'll see, both sports can be a lot of fun.
But especially for someone who's never tried the sports, they can be very dangerous.
So remember, safety first.
Don't adjust your set.
Because we're about to get extreme!
Welcome to all who seek adventure. I'm Stas.
And I'm Wally!
And this is Stas and Wally's Extreme Shot. If you're going to tackle an extreme sport, you must take extremely good care of your body.
Yeah, mountain biking is one of the coolest sports around, but it's no fun if you get hurt.
If you're going to get crazy, you must have the right safety equipment. And at our shop, safety is our middle name.
Actually, it's Henry.
We've got all the safety gear that you will ever need. You know, to protect those favorite body parts.
This is the one you can't do without.
Well, that's true for most of us, Wally. But here at
Stas and Wally's Extreme Shot, we got what you need. You see, mountain biking is fast, and it's really easy to fall off your bike.
When that happens, you gotta have a helmet. They come in all shapes and sizes, but they do one very important job.
Look cool.
Nope.
Keep your hair dry. Reshape your hair in really strange ways.
No, it protects your head in case of an accident. The helmet is designed to absorb the impact, so you don't bust your head wide open on a rock.
That's gross.
Well, so's getting hurt. So avoid it by wearing a good helmet. Yeah. It should have a good strap. Close that strap when you're riding. And it should fit snugly. Not too tight, not too loose. There's other gear you should wear, like gloves, but nothing's more important than a good helmet.
Yeah, if you wipe out, you probably owe your life to this hunk of plastic.
And you can see this helmet has broken apart in about 9 pieces. It'd be safe to assume if he didn't have this helmet on, he'd be dead. This is the before, and this is the after. There's 2 big dents here, and that was a rock impact, and then he slid on the top of his head, which caused his helmet to further break apart. The skull isn't designed to take that kind of an impact.
The biggest danger is going over the handlebars because naturally you're airborne and you're going to land on your head. And we always wear helmets. I've probably broken 2 or 3 helmets in the last couple of years just mountain biking. So I don't like to think I'm a klutz, but they do come in handy, and I'm a strong advocate of wearing these things.
Most helmets are pretty much designed on the same principle this one is. You have a open cellular foam, and This foam is encased by a thin piece of plastic, and this is a micro shell is what they call it. And this micro shell is designed to try and keep this helmet from just coming completely apart. You'll see a lot of people and they're on the back of their heads like this. This is just leaving the whole front of their head exposed. A properly fitted helmet should be over your forehead, so when you bring your hand up like this and touch the helmet, your hand isn't touching your nose. So if it's back like here, you're hitting the nose, that's a good place to impact without protection. Your head, that's control central. If anything goes wrong there, you can shut down the whole system.
Definitely wear that helmet. You definitely want to grow old and have a normal head.
Mountain biking isn't the only sport that uses helmets.
That's right, you need a good helmet for caving too.
Yeah, in case you fall off your bike.
No, you need a good helmet for caving in case of low-hanging rocks or even falling rocks.
But there's another reason you need a helmet.
Dark, isn't it? Well, it's even darker in a cave.
Yeah. And like a coal miner, your helmet makes a great place to hold your light.
And here at
Joshua's Extreme Shop,
We endeavor to satisfy your illuminatory mandates.
Yeah.
when you go caving, you must have at least 3 different lights.
One on your helmet.
And 2 more as backups. So if one goes out,
You got 2 more.
but make sure they're good, reliable lights. Hey, Wally, can you find the light switch?
Yeah, it's here somewhere. No, that's not it. Maybe this. No. Ow! No.
Ouch!
How about this?
We'll get back to you later in the show.
Okay, so you have your safety gear in place. There's still one other thing you need before you start.
You need training. Before you tackle one of these sports, it's important you learn the ropes.
And the best way to do that is to take lessons or sign up for classes.
There are lots of places to get training. Check at your school or your local sports shop. But if you want to try mountain biking, sometimes you can get training at the mountain. One of the best places to go biking in the eastern half of the United States is at the Snowshoe Ski Resort. You can't do much skiing in the summer, so the resort has developed dozens of bike trails that run down and around these West Virginia hills.
We have the best trails that you can find. If you're interested in doing a lot of downhill and you don't want to ride back up, you come here. We have a shuttle service. It'll take you right back to the top of the mountain. We have some wonderful downhill. We also have some cross country here though, in case you do want to ride up the hills.
The great thing about this setup is you don't have to bike up the hill. A bus takes you to the top and you bike downhill. But before you get started, beginners have to take a training course. That's where you learn the basics of mountain biking. The most important lesson is to learn how to pop up your front wheel to get over an obstacle. If you do it right, the back wheel will follow along. But if you do it wrong,
Hey, Dad, it's all right.
you also have to learn how to drive along rocks and avoid disaster. It's like the old saying, practice makes perfect. Beginners will start on a flat, easy course, but it won't take you long to work your way up to bigger and meaner courses.
The same rules hold true for caving. Never go caving alone or without training. Even the most experienced cavers have been injured while caving. It doesn't take much to slip, fall, and break an arm or a leg. So follow the basic rules. Never go alone, take lots of light, and make sure someone outside the cave knows where you're going.
If you want to get into caving, go with an experienced caver. Most of the people you hear about in the news getting lost or stuck in caves are inexperienced.
And the landowners really prefer it if people that are going to use the caves come by and ask them. That way we know when you're on the property, we know what you're doing there, and we can check to make sure a little later if you're out.
Remember, the most important thing about caving is having fun, but make sure you have fun safely.
If you think you can take part in an extreme sport without wearing the proper safety gear, then think again. Just look at the pros. They do this stuff all the time, but never without the safety equipment that can prevent dangerous injuries. Remember, you can't have much fun if you spend all your time at the hospital.
If you surf the web and want to find out more about mountain biking, check out these homepages. Snowshoe, www.wv.web.com/snowshoe.html. For helmet information, www.bnsi.org/webdocs. And if you want to check out information on mountain biking, www.trekbikes.com.
Yeah, Mountain Extreme. We'll be right back. Now, back to Mountain Extreme.
Once you know the basic rules of safety, the next thing you need is a location.
There are some great caves in our area, from Greenbrier County in southern West Virginia to Carter Caves in eastern Kentucky.
You can go biking just about anywhere you can find a trail, but the best place has to be at Snowshoe in the southeast corner of West Virginia.
And if you need a travel plan, then check with us, cause he's Stas and he's Wally, and this is Stas and Wally's Extreme Shop.
And we can handle your travel plans. Before you go biking, be sure you know the path that you're gonna follow.
Does it cross a highway anywhere? Are there any dangerous spots to watch out for?
Always make sure the path is okay for bikes. You gotta have plenty of handlebar space, you know?
And just like caving, make sure someone knows where you're going.
Your best bet is to sign up at a professional trail. That way you'll get the training you need. And the trails are always cleared for mountain bikes.
Of course, before you go biking, there's one important piece of equipment you can't forget. Now, I know what it is, but don't tell me. I think it's around here. I had...
Yo.
Oh, yeah, a handlebar.
And before you get started on our trails here, you need to make sure of a couple things. First of all, you want to make sure your bike's in good mechanical order.
Some of the things I'd want to check out on a bike would be the tire pressure. I'd want to check the drivetrain to make sure it's shifting properly, just by running through the gears. I'd want to make sure that the brakes are adjusted correctly, that the pads aren't too close to the tire and they're on the rim, that they're towed out correctly. I'd want to make sure all the bolts are tight and that everything's lubed up, the chain and the derailleurs are lubed.
You're going to find most of the bikes have 7 gears back here and 3 up front, which will give you 21 different ranges of gears for different types of pedaling, whether going downhill, flatland, or for climbing. What makes this different than your standard mountain bike is this is a fully suspended mountain bike. In other words, we have different lengths of travel in the front and rear to absorb shock, which does 2 things. It allows you to go over rougher terrain, and it also lessens rider fatigue, which will allow you to ride longer. So just to give you an idea, if we were to come up on something really rough like a rock or a log or something, this fork will compress, allowing the wheel to travel up and over and back down the other side. I love mountain biking. We have very rugged terrain here at Snowshoe and in West Virginia, so it's very conducive to riding a fully suspended bike. It's kind of like asking the question, if you were to buy a car today, would you rather have one with shocks or without shocks? So, ask yourself that question.
If you want to go caving, you got to pick your site very carefully.
Of course, your best bet is with a commercial cave like Carter Caves in Kentucky. The guides can give you a tour and give you a sample of what caving is really about.
Then you can join groups who explore wild caves. That's like caves that don't have a lot of traffic. No, I meant like people traffic. There's going to be wildlife, bats and crickets.
And remember, if you find any new caves, you can name them after us, because I'm Wally.
And I'm Stas.
And this is Stas and Wally's Extreme Shop. Don't come back now.
This is what caving is all about. Exploring new territory and seeing part of the world that most people will never see.
Good thing about caves is it stays the same temperature year-round. It means in the summer it's nice and cool, and in the winter it's warmer than it is outside. This is a live formation. It still has water all over it. The water is actually forming this formation. The water brings in deposits from outside, and the minerals build up, and over time will make the stalactite longer. I like it because it's actually good physical exercise, but it's not too difficult. It's a lot of walking and crawling, and you get really dirty. And it's cool coming out with mud all over you.
First of all, you got to be a little curious, a little crazy. A lot of people enjoy getting wet and muddy and slimy and crawling around on their stomach like little lizards or snakes. And then you'll basically find somebody who knows what they're doing. You want to do it the right way.
I had a friend who was a geology student, and his professor took him down to a cave to do some geological studies. And he decided to take a group of guys down there and do a little caving. That got me hooked, and then I hooked up with some organizations that knew how to do it properly, would fit you with helmets, headlamps, and it's just nice seeing a different world, something that is completely the negative of this. You have sun, you have clouds here, you have open air. You go underground, it's completely different. Some of the crystalline formations and some of the rock formations are simply beautiful. It's just not something you see in this world. And you have to get muddy and a little scraped up to see them, but it's truly worth the adventure.
For mountain biking, it's more of a contest, where you pit yourself and your skill against all the obstacles that the trail throws at you. Succeed, and you'll enjoy the thrill of blazing new trails. And if you fail, you can always get up, wipe off the dust, and try again.
But then when I got into the shops and I started looking at all the mountain bikes and I started reading the magazines and gathering information, I was like, hey, I think I want to try this mountain biking thing. It's a personal challenge. You know, it's not easy. You go really slow and you're trying to get over all these, through the mud puddles and over the rocks, and you just sit there and you go, I'm not going to let these rocks get the best of me. I'm not gonna let the mud get the best of me. It's a lot of hard work, and you know, you're really tired, and it's just a personal challenge kind of thing. It's hard to explain.
But I enjoy the single track, especially going downhill. It's a little technical, and you have to maneuver around the rocks, and jump a few logs here and there. Might be a creek in the way. You always have to think 10, 12 feet ahead of where you're at. It's challenging on the bike. You usually end up replacing parts like my friends here. It's just a good time overall.
Mountain biking connects you more with the outdoors. You're more like in touch. You're in a very small space that you have to bike through. It's called single track, and it's about the width of your bike.
Start out slow, doing 3 to 5 miles, and as your endurance builds, increase your distance. And don't forget to rest. Provide plenty of rest during the week. If you have a real hard day of cycling, rest the next day. We don't have to ride every day, even though you want to.
Well, I really like to be outdoors and to get some exercise at the same time, having fun with friends. And then, the greatest part is sitting around and talking about everything you've done all day afterwards, with a cool refreshment.
For information on caving, try www.uky.edu/Kentucky Atlas. For the world's largest caving club, try www.caves.org/NSS. And to take a virtual trip through a cave, try www.goodearth.com/vertcave.html.
Yeah, Mountain Extreme will be right back. Now, back to Mountain Extreme.
So far, we've talked about safety, equipment, and location. But those are just the rules you have to follow to take part in these sports.
Once you get that down, you can get to everyone's favorite part, having fun.
but even while you're having fun, still remember the rules of the road. Every sport has some basic rules of etiquette. For biking, you should be considerate of others. Don't leave a mess along the trail, and do as little damage as you can.
Remember the 3 rules of caving. Take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, and kill nothing but time.
Basically, this means don't spoil the beauty for anyone else. If you're in a cave, try not to break anything. Leave everything in the cave. Don't take anything in with you that you're not going to take back out. And if you see an animal that's in the cave, avoid it. There may be only 100 creatures that live in a cave. A cave is a fragile ecosystem. Every animal in a cave depends upon the other ones.
Most caves aren't public property, so always get the cave owner's permission before going caving. Before you go into a cave, make sure you tell someone where you're going to be and what time you expect to be out. Make sure you are out of the cave by the time you said you would be, or the person you notified will think you're lost or in trouble.
There is a little bit of fear when you first start going downhill and you start going real fast, but once you do it a couple of times and you learn your own ability and you learn how you react to situations, and then you account for that, and so then it makes it a lot of fun.
I like getting out in the woods and seeing nature and challenging my body, getting through the creeks and over those hills that you didn't think you'd make. It's just a lot of fun. I'm an outdoors type person, and it's just a way to see more of what I enjoy.
Like testing myself on the bike. I think it's fun to set a challenge for yourself and be able to see if you can finish it or not finish it or achieve your own goals.
Well, that's when you know when you're having fun. So you get a little mud on you. No blood though, so we didn't have a whole lot of fun today, no blood. Stay clean all day, that means you ain't have no fun.
That wraps up our show. So what are you waiting for? Pick a sport and give it a try.
There are lots out there for you to discover, so have fun exploring. From Mountain Extreme, I'm David Charles.
And I'm Esther Shannon. Thanks for watching.